way. And why are we here? And welcome and thank you for joining us tonight. And we have a few introductions, and I have a full team of councillors here tonight. Councillor Hooper, Todd, McMillan, Alice Muckle, Lovett, Wilson and Cameron are all here. And staff-wise, I've got our CE Hamish Riek here, and other staffers, Tony, Mark and Tabia. Welcome along. Housekeeping, if there's an emergency and a siren goes off, there's an exit here and there's exits out there, and we'll assemble outside if need be. Toilets, there's toilets just around the back here if you require them. And the other thing that we're doing is this meeting is being live streamed, so you can go back and listen to it later at home if you wish, and there will be people at home now listening to the meeting who couldn't be here tonight. So if you have a specific issue you want to raise, e.g. a pothole or overgrown tree, well, this isn't the place for that, but if it's a burning issue, we can take that issue later on after the meeting. So let's jump straight into why we're here this evening. We're here to talk about what Council is doing in response to the government's Local Water Done Well program. We cover the big change coming for how our drinking water, wastewater and stormwater services are delivered in the future, and how we propose to deliver this in the future. Tonight will be an overview, but you'll find all the additional background information on itsourplace.nz, the website there. So that's also where it's easiest to make your submission as well. What is Local Water Done Well? In November 2023, the New Zealand Government announced Local Water Done Well. Local Water Done Well is a new government-led direction for the delivery of water services which seeks to address New Zealand's long-standing challenges with water, wastewater, stormwater and infrastructure. Local Water Done Well requires councils to consult their communities before determining how to deliver water services in the future. And you'll have that book, or if you haven't, it's been in the mail, or we've got some copies here tonight. And the up on the screen, the page number 2 will be page number 2 in this book to let you follow on through. So consultation, and that's what we're doing tonight. We're consulting with you on Local Water Done Well. So Local Water Done Well provides communities and councils with flexibility to decide how their water services are delivered in the future, while ensuring oversight and stricter regulation of costs and quality by the Commerce Commission and Water Services Authority. Welcome, Councillor Brown. The model must, number one, be fit for purpose. This means it is structured and governed in a way to meet the government's requirements and our community's needs. Number two, it must be financially sustainable. This means that the revenue it collects must be able to meet regulatory standards and cover the cost of replacing infrastructure to meet current and future challenges. And three, it must meet new economic and water quality regulations. New economic regulation will require consumers to pay a fair price for water enforced by the Commerce Commission. We must also meet water quality standards set by the Water Services Authority. What's a water service delivery plan? This is a brief overview of the key features of a water service delivery plan and what it includes. The water services delivery plan will be based on Council's chosen service delivery model. It needs to show how Council will ensure delivery of water and services is financially sustainable by the 30th of June 2028. Our water services. By the way of definition, water services means drinking water, wastewater and stormwater. Council is currently responsible for providing water services, that is the drinking water, wastewater and stormwater for the Ashburton district. In drinking water, we have 10 community drinking water suppliers, 13 water treatment plants, and there's 520 kilometres of water mains in the ground. And that provides safe drinking water to just under 12,500 homes and businesses, and that's about 70% of the residents of the Ashburton district. Drinking water also includes wells, surface and gallery intakes, ensuring safe and treated water for all the various uses. And here's a photo of the Council's water testing laboratory. and the other picture is the Methven water treatment plant, which was commissioned last year. For wastewater service provided through and proper disposal of used water from homes and businesses, meeting strict regulations. And we have 3 urban wastewater treatment plants, one in Ashburton, one in Rakaia and one in Methven. And there's 18 stations that pump wastewater to other parts of the gravity network. And there's just over 200 kilometres of wastewater pipes in the ground. And here's a photo of the oxidation pond at our Wilkins Road wastewater treatment plant just below Tynwald. And the other picture is the bigger picture of the Wilkins Road wastewater treatment facility. Stormwater includes the collection, treatment and disposal of excess stormwater from urban areas. And we have 42 kilometres of stormwater mains in the ground, and we have 7.5 hectares of stormwater detention and infiltration basins. And here's a couple of photos of the stormwater infiltration at Strohan Fields subdivision, and another photo there of boys taking a sample of stormwater retention basin in Braybrook here in Ashburton. Our proposed spending. And the key points is in 24-25, 20% of our operational expenditure and nearly 50% of capital expenditure are forecast for water infrastructure. Overall, the long-term plan of 2024 to 34 forecasts an increase in charges for water services over the next 10 years. These costs are expected to rise due to necessary upgrades and renewals. The slide shows projected water service costs for an average Ashburton residential ratepayer as outlined in our draft annual plan 25-26, and that's $742 for drinking water, $604 for wastewater and $139 for stormwater. The rates you pay, and these charges vary across the district depending on your location and property value. The rates you pay fund daily operations and infrastructure like pipes, pumps and treatment facilities. Investment ensures clean drinking water, proper wastewater disposal and stormwater management. So what are the options? By law, Council must consult on at least 2 options, including a standalone in-house model. Council has decided to consult on 2 service delivery models. The first one is a standalone business unit, which is our proposed model. And the second one is a Water Services Council-controlled organisation, or a WSCCO. Both models include all 3 waters, that's the drinking water, wastewater and stormwater. Other possible options can include establishing a single water services CCO or partnering with other councils to form a joint water services CCO. Both options must, irrespective of the water service delivery model we choose, they must be fit for purpose, financially sustainable and meet all new regulations. This shows the key features of the standalone business unit model. Any new requirements will have to be combined into Council's current operations. For example, this includes developing and implementing a water services strategy, complying with and reporting to regulators, e.g. the Commerce Commission, Te Mata Arawai, which is the drinking water regulator, and Environment Canterbury. Ensuring financial ring fencing, water services revenue spent only on water services and separated out from Council's other activities. Focused annual reporting for water services will be a requirement as well. Standalone business unit pros and cons. The advantages: district local accountability and transparency. Integrated services within the council. Financial viability with lower household costs. Maintain control over charging mechanisms. Some potential disadvantages: funding limitations may affect other council services. Increased regulatory scrutiny for council. Potential challenges in staffing and resource allocation. Why are we proposing a standalone business unit? In 2021, a council survey showed that 90% of residents preferred local control of the water services. Over the past 4 years, council has worked hard to ensure that local voices are at the heart of any new water service delivery model. Council considers the standalone business unit model offers the closest alignment to the current delivery model, keeping water service management within ADC's direct control. This ensures accountability remains local while adapting to meet quality regulations. The additional economic regulation brings critical oversight, including monitoring and enforcement of ring-fencing rules, ensuring fairness and compliance. It will mean significant change and additional cost for how council currently delivers it. The standalone business unit model balances continuity and improvement, strengthening council's ability to deliver reliable water, wastewater and stormwater services effectively. Water Services Council Controlled Organisation, which is the second option. Under this option, council will establish a solely focused Water Services CCO to manage and deliver water services. The Water Services CCO will operate independently with its own governance and management structures, including a competency-based board. The Water Services CCO will be 100% owned by ADC. It will remain accountable to the council, who will monitor its performance. All water services staff would transfer to the Water Services CCO. And the slide here shows the features the model would have, and some of those features: council is the shareholder, competency-based board, accountable to the statement of expectation issued by the council. There have to be a water services strategy, sets the water charges, and the borrowing capacity can only be up to 500% of the revenue. The pros and cons of the Water Services CCO. The advantages: you'd have a professional independent board focused on water services, higher borrowing capacity for sustainable growth. Some disadvantage which potentially could be there is less direct accountability to the community. Could be higher household costs and set-up expenses, and the transition period required for staff and stakeholders. So why is the Water Services CCO not our proposal? The Water Focus CCO model has the benefits like specialised focus on water services and borrowing capacity. However, council considers its high upfront costs, transition risks and reduced council control make it less suitable for the Ashburton district currently. The in-house model is more cost-effective, cohesive and better aligned with immediate priorities, though the Water Services CCO model would be viable in the future for scalability and specialisation. So the financial implications. This slide summarises the financial implications of the two options based on financial modelling completed for the council. The modelling has shown us that both models can achieve financial sustainability as required under the reform. Charges and rates. Both models mean higher costs for delivering water services due to meeting new regulations and capital expenditure needs. The standard business unit model is expected to have lower average household charges compared to the Water Services CCO model. The table shows the expected charges for water averaged over 10, 20 and 30 years. So you can see in the table there, average over 10 years, standalone business units $2,076 for the three waters, and the Water Services CCO would be $2,261. So a slight increase between the two models. Debt management. Both models will be able to use debt to help fund their future work. This is important to meet the need for future investment, and so everyone pays their fair share, current and future generations. There are different debt rules that apply to the different models. These are that the standalone business unit manages debt at the council level, so total council level with a 250% debt to revenue cap, while the Water Services CCO can borrow up to 500% of its revenue. The modelling has shown us that both models will stay within the financial limits imposed. So let's pause there and we'll take questions. There's a lot of information there, and you've seen a lot of that information is in that booklet too. So if we'd like to go to questions now, and we'll have to use the microphone so those who are at home will hear our questions. Phil.
Neil, you just gave the two different abilities to borrow 250% of the total debt in the proposed option versus the 500 times in the standalone model, and they're both easily funded within the resource. How did that happen?
Repeat
You said they were both fundable?
Both fundable, yeah. We're not at those caps yet. We've with the standalone business unit, we can borrow 250% of total council's revenue. With the Water Services CCO, we can only borrow 500% of its ring-fenced revenue. Further questions? One up the back.
Thank you. Just a simple question. Who owns the water and who owns the infrastructure?
No one owns the water, but the infrastructure is owned by the Ashburton District Council.
So that is owned by a corporation. I thought the infrastructure is owned by the people of Mid-Canterbury, because the Ashburton District Council is supposedly there to work for the people of Mid-Canterbury. So you are taking our investment and putting it under Ashburton District Council's umbrella, and I'm far from happy with that.
That's where it sits now. So there's no change under the proposed model of the standalone business unit. The ownership of the pipes, the pumps, the infrastructure will sit under council control as it sits now. And who owns the council? The ratepayers of this district, the people of this district.
Can I just go back to the beginning where we said 70% of the ratepayers are receiving council drinking water supplies? For the other 30%, are they going to see the same increases over time because of the change, or will that be separated to users and non-users?
The other 70%, the 30% will be private drinking supplies, like houses out in the country, farms, who are not under these regulations at all.
So they won't be paying that extra rating?
No, if you don't receive the service, you don't pay for it.
Thank you.
I'd like to say the town of Chertsey doesn't have a wastewater system, so they don't pay for wastewater. But they get drinking water, so they just pay for drinking water, and they get some stormwater as well with their curb and channel, so they'll pay a portion of that. So only if you receive the service, you will pay for it. Question down here.
So in terms of the meters that are at the gateway for the water,
Yep.
are you actually going to independently put another account on our rates with showing the water rates like they do in Auckland?
There's no proposal to do that. We put water meters on in Methven about 3 years ago now, I think it was, and we put them on there for leak detection. And every household in Methven has water meters, and they've been very effective at finding leaks on property. So that's all we've been using water meters for. If in the future the drinking water regulator or the Commerce Commission says you need to charge by a volumetric method, and they haven't said that yet, but if they did, then we would have to meter the supply. But Ashburton doesn't have meters, and I'm saying that some new houses get meters put on, but they're just there so they don't need to be put on at a later date. All businesses have meters now and pay a volumetric charge. Yep.
So in terms of moving forward and the government giving you proposals on what they are wanting, do you challenge them on that?
Just say the question again.
In terms of anything moving forward in regards to the water, and the government proposes these things that they want, do you challenge them?
We always challenge what the government says, that we do that now, but there's some things in law which we can't challenge, and if a law is made, then we need to adhere to the law. But generally, before a law is established, there's consultation, and if we don't feel it's right for us, we'll be part of that consultation and tell government why they don't like it. And that consultation is just what we're doing now. We're looking at changing our water services here, so we're asking you what you think, and then we'll make a decision after that.
Okay, so at the end of the day, the costs that you actually brought up come back on each and every one of us on our rates. Has there ever been a case where the rates come down? I've never heard of it, but they are continually going up.
This drinking water reform will not give you cheaper water. The government has never said that it will, and we are not seeing it either with the financial modelling we've done. It gets dearer and dearer because the drinking water standards keep increasing, so we need to keep ahead of or obey by the drinking water standards and put the necessary equipment on to deliver the safe water that the regulator says we have to.
And
you're
so
right.
up to now, it's perceived that our water is not safe enough to the people?
It is safe enough to drink now. Yep, but we don't set the regulations. The drinking water regulator sets them, and we must adhere to them. And things need replacing, renewing, which all cost more. They never get cheaper. Electricity goes up. The treatment we use always goes up. Nothing ever seems to come down. Hence the comment, the rates don't seem to go down. No, they don't. In that book, you'll see the graphs in there with the two models, and there's no downwards. There is downward on the downward graph on the debt over a period of time. When the debt is paid off, it starts to come down. Joss.
There's been a quiet mention about a volume charge, and I just wondered whether this was coming. Hamish had mentioned it in a piece in the paper recently. And if it comes in, will it be highlighted as a separate cost on our rates notice, because one side is infrastructure and other side will be a volume charge? I want to know what the volume charge is for, and does it sit in council's coffers and earmarked for Ashburton District Council water works, or is it anticipated that it's sent to central government for further distribution?
I'm not aware that it'll be going to, if there is a volumetric charge, and we haven't been told or alerted that we need to do that, and if there is, it'll be held here at council to pay for the service we provide. For the infrastructure, yeah. So what's the volume charge for? You can just use the microphone.
So you're saying if there's a volume charge, it will be also paying for infrastructure. So what's the volume charge for?
Delivering the services we deliver now. We would, if there was a volume charge, it would be another way of collecting revenue instead of the set rate we charge now. There was one slide there with the $700 for water and $600 something for wastewater. That would be on a volumetric charge, so everyone would pay different. The more you use, the more you would pay. The less you use, the less you would pay. But we're not planning on doing that. Government in the future may enforce us to do that, but they haven't said they would at the moment, and we're not planning on it. We're not planning for it.
There's nothing coming down the pike from government? You haven't heard
Not that I'm aware of.
Thank you. Just wanting to ask, and it's a bit of a curly question and I apologise in advance, but local water done well replaces the original 3 waters proposed by the last government, which I understand most district councils, city councils were a reasonable way working towards and had to then roll back and start again to meet local water done well. I'm assuming that means this district council made an investment which has been lost, and I'm wondering if you're able to share with us what that actual cost to our community has been, because it really hasn't been addressed in this change from one to another. I'm not saying it's got nothing to do with this district council, it's a reality of what happened, but I think it's useful to understand what the change has meant for all of us.
Did you say, Jackie, there's an investment that council put in?
Did council put in an investment to begin working up a Three Waters model to fit the original legislation that was rolled back?
I think we spent very little time on it because government was mastering how they were going to make it all work. And I'd say it was to the negative. When they were giving out the sweeteners, if you call them that, we got several 10 to 12, or might be $20 million, I think Hamish might have the answer, as a sweetener to come on board with it. We took the sweetener but didn't go on board with it because we didn't like the way that government was handling it, because we were going to lose all our assets. Our assets were going to go to a bigger entity, and the South Island was going to be an entity when they first started it, and we were not happy with that. So we objected to it, but we took their sweeteners while we were going through the process. So I think, and Hamish may back me up, we were fully funded for the work that was done, so it didn't cost the ratepayer anything.
No, I appreciate that, Neil, and I think your answer may have actually helped the gentleman behind me with his earlier question.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Neil. No, you did right. And not only did we get what you call the sweeteners, which paid for other infrastructural work around the district, other than water. So we benefited from those funds, but we also received support money for the internal effort and time and energy that we were putting on the previous government's reform. So we were being reimbursed for our time on that, and that was all part of the reform program. And of course, it coincided with COVID and the previous government being very focused on ensuring the economy continued, and so there was a lot of money flowing out of Wellington through those years, and so I would say we actually received more than we invested in terms of the previous reform.
One of the biggest differences between the Three Waters and Local Water Done Well is we are holding ownership of the water, of our water infrastructure, and we are managing it as well, and we get a choice, and hence we're here tonight. Do we manage it in-house as we're doing now, or do we put it out, still owned by council, to a CCO? So that's the choice, but we will own it no matter what. Further questions?
Yeah, just on the governance structure of the proposed new company, can you comment further on how that would actually work, or how you see it working?
Well, we're not proposing, if you win a CCO, then we'd have to, which is not our preferred model, we would have to set up a governance structure. So once we get direction which way we're going, then that would follow. Our proposal is to be in-house, so it'll be governed the way it's governed now by council. Does that answer the question, Bruce?
So your preference is, like, for the structure to be, it would be governed totally by councillors, with no external directors at all?
I shouldn't say there wouldn't be any external. If that's the proposal, then we will focus on that, and we may need some, or may not, extra support around governance of that standalone business unit. So that's yet to be developed. Yeah, we want to do what's best practice, and we want to do the job properly. So if we need some external support on there in governance, then we should get it, but yet to be developed.
Thanks.
Hamish.
Sorry, just to add to that, Council does have a Three Waters Services Committee, which is focused solely on the water services, and the conversations that Council's been having that Neil's reflecting is whether or not, if the standalone business unit model is ultimately adopted, whether that committee would benefit from some independent membership on that particular committee. So that's the first layer of governance for the business unit, and ultimately that committee is reporting through to Council, so the overarching governance arrangements still sit with the elected members.
Phil?
Neil, so often we seem to be negative about these things. Probably a question you can't answer, but I'd love if you could. If our council wasn't as proactive as it has been on wastewater and stormwater, and maybe a little bit on drinking water, where would we sit today? Because I feel that we've actually done a great job in our community. Yes, we've paid for it, but where would we be if we were Wellington?
If we were Wellington, I presume we'd have a lot more money to spend to get our infrastructure up to scratch. Our infrastructure is in pretty good stead at the moment, and has been. We've spent a lot of money over the years on infrastructure. The bulk of council's debt is in the water services area. I think it's about 60 million of debt. Once this building was added on, our debt went up a reasonable amount, but the bulk, before this building was built, the bulk of our debt was on waters. So we've been focusing on waters for the last, as long as I've been here, 20 odd years, and before then to get it the way it is. So it's in pretty good heart. But other councils haven't done as well as what we have, and they'll obviously have a lot of work to do, and but the government said it's all in, everyone's in. There's change for all of the councils' drinking waters. Lester?
Yes, I agree with the standalone business unit, but I'm going to ask another question about the CCO.
Yep.
If we were to go down that path, do you pick which other councils you work with, or is it a national body that you work with under a CCO? So if we, for example, on Phil's statement there, or what he was saying, if we were part of the CCO and the Wellington Council was part of it, would we be inheriting all the costs as part of our debt? Will we be paying for other councils' lack of vision, I suppose, is the question I'm asking.
Yeah, if we do a CCO, it'll be just Ashburton District. It won't be it won't be taking anyone else in. Yeah, it would just be Ashburton District, and the difference we would notice, it would have its own management, it would be standalone, separate from council, but owned by council, and run by a yet-to-be-formed board of directors. But it would still be council-owned and still be in Ashburton. Its governance would be different.
I have a question slightly off the side. You're making a huge effort to bring good, potable drinking water to everyone in Mid-Canterbury, is that correct?
Yeah, that's our goal.
That's your goal? For
the council-operated services, yeah.
Is it correct that the Methven water supply is fluoridated?
Correct.
So a known neurotoxin is put into the water, and you are out to give us the purest water we can drink, best water we can drink. So I see a little bit of something doesn't stack up here.
I'm thinking about 15 years ago, there was a referendum done on fluoride in the district. And Methven always had fluoridated water, and Ashburton, Rakaya and the other smaller suppliers didn't. So we had a referendum, I think it was a referendum, we certainly consulted on it. The Methven people said, yes, we want to stay with fluoride, and the rest of the drinking water suppliers, Ashburton, Rakaya, Hines, etc., said, no, we don't want. So it stayed that way. So the Methven people asked for it. And that decision now is not made by councils, it's now made by the Ministry of Health. And the Ministry of Health directs councils to fluoridate. So it's not our decision anymore to fluoridate or not. If the Ministry of Health said for Methven, take it out, we would have to take it out. But we'll take direction from them. Further questions?
So just following on from that gentleman's comments about the fluoride, so that at the moment the government's not proposing to ask us to put fluoride in the water?
Not for Ashburton, no.
No.
We've had no notices from government to put fluoride in the water. I think, Hamish, you've had no request for us to fluoridate?
Because I don't know what the latest is. Is it the Whangarei Council that refused to put fluoride in their water because that was the community's wishes? And I just thought, well done them, but I don't know what the latest is on that.
Yeah, Hamish will know more about that than I will.
Yeah, no,
Other councils.
we got a letter at the same time as Whangarei, and there were 15 councils that were told they had to put fluoride in. So Whangarei was one of those. We weren't mentioned. So at the moment, there doesn't appear to be immediate plans. My understanding in Whangarei is, despite the concern, and they fought a good fight for a long time, in the end, the council has given that fight up and accepted that actually the decision is the Ministry of Health's, and they have no choice but to put it in. Yeah.
Jackie?
Sorry, I really don't want to take it down a fluoridation route, but I can't just sit here and let the comments go. It's all about quantity. And if you have no fluoride in your water naturally and you add a small amount, then you are only bringing it up to what other people are consuming with a natural level of fluoride that does provide a protection to the dentine level. So I think it all comes down to understanding what your baseline is and how much you're adding and doing it as a scientific calculation. And if everybody is happy that that is the process that would be used, which I can only assume would be the correct process to use, to me it would be scientifically sound.
Thanks, you, Jackie, and you've obviously got way more experience in that than what I have. Yeah. Any final burning questions? If not, so what are the next steps? So more information, there's key documents. There's a report that came to council, the key places to find more information is at ourplace.nz. And there are several background documents on this website, including the report that came to council on 19th of March 2025, which was last month. There's a Morrison Lowe report on the financial modelling that is all there, and there's also the business case. So if you want to go and get more information, it is there. And the consultation document sets out all the information in more detail. So the consultation timeline, we're at the 27th of March and consultation closes on the 27th of April. 27th of March is when it opened, so we're in that process now. We'll have hearings between the 12th and the 16th of May, depending on the submissions we get. And on the 21st of May, we'll do deliberations and make a final decision. And on June to August 25, the staff will prepare the adoption, ready for adoption of the Water Services Delivery Plan. And in September, early September 25, Council will submit that adopted Water Services Delivery Plan to the government. So, how to have your say. We want to hear from you. This slide shows how you can do that. Making your submission online at itsourplace.nz is the easiest way to do it. But you can also complete the form or email your submission in. It doesn't matter which way, as long as you get the information to us. And when we do have the hearing process, you'll have the option of coming in and speaking to us. You don't have to, but if you want to, you'll have that option. Or just send the submission in and we'll read every submission and make decisions on it. So that's all from me. I thank you all for, if there's nothing further to ask, thank you all for coming out tonight and listening to this. This is one of the biggest decisions council has ever made. So we need to hear what you're thinking so we make a good, informed decision. Thank you. Sure. And we can hang around for chatter if you want now. We've got a full council team here, so if you want to talk to any councillors, you're more than welcome.